All right, guys, we are back with another podcast episode, and I just want to apologize to people who are watching the video version of this. As you can tell, I'm wearing something completely different, something that I normally wear. Well, technically, I wear this every single day. And the reason why I do is because one, I live in Singapore, it is very hot. Number two, because I work by myself and work at home, normally I will just wear what is comfortable. Number three, I'm always exercising. And as you know, I'm working towards training for a marathon. Therefore, I want to, be ready to exercise all the time, especially if I go out, to the supermarket, run some errands and eventual calls for it, I'm always ready to work out and get the call to adventure basically. So that's the reason why I am dressed like this. But why am I dressed like this on the podcast? I just came back from lunch and I just thought that I got drenched in the rain. Therefore, I felt that I could, squeeze in a little podcast episode because before I go to take my shower and then move on with the rest of the day. So that's why we're here, and this is why I am here to tell you today's topic that we are going to be talking about, which is finding your purpose and aligning your life with your values. And the rain kind of helped me to get a sense of what we're going to talk about today because I have a story for you. As I was walking up from the train station, walking towards my house, I live on a hill. So it was raining and there was no human activity because it's raining. Everyone wants to stay dry, stay inside. But along the pathways, there were a lot of snails. And this was something that I thought about. That these guys only come out when the rain comes and everyone else leaves, and they suddenly are drifting and surfing through all the mini streams which are made by the rainfall on the pavements, and they're going really, really fast. I'm talking relative to what they normally do, which is on leaves, on walls, and that's on par to grass growing. That's really slow. But I saw these guys zooming here, zooming there, something like that snail movie. But anyway, I think it's called Speed, I think. Yeah. All the snails were going really, really fast. They were taking advantage of the rain. And I thought that that was one of the most beautiful scenes that I've ever seen in real life. And at the same time, I decided to kneel down to help them get across the pavement for two reasons. The first one is I felt that I wanted to help them get to the place that they're already going even faster. So it's having a human buff, a human friend helping hand to help them get even faster from one point to another place. And I'm quite comfortable with nature. So I thought that why not just lend a helping hand? I'm already wet anyway in the rain. It doesn't really pay for me to go and get dry, and I have time to waste. Why not just help out nature as it is? The second thing is that for a very selfish reason, I didn't want to get my shoes dirty because a lot of times normally when I'm walking home, especially at night in the dark, and I forget that there are snails on the floor, I would start killing a lot of them unintentionally, and you see just a lot of carcasses lined up throughout the pavement. And sometimes it just like breaks the mood a little bit when you're thinking about, you're in your own world, you're walking back home and you're trying to navigate the darkness, and suddenly you hear crack and then you see that you have killed a snail. And I feel very sad for the nature itself. So that's why I decided, you know what, help the snails. But the thing about this story is zooming in on the part about helping 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 the snails. And that's the part that I really want to get at, because that has been my intrinsic value for the longest time, whether on this channel, whether in real life, whether I'm just sitting by myself. I'm always thinking about the highest core value about myself, about helping other people. And that is something that I only come to know right now in this stage of my life where I'm building these YouTube channels and helping other people become the best version of themselves. I only knew this now that I have finally found my purpose. And that took many years for me to get here. And in this podcast, what I want to talk about is to tell you the stories of where I was in the past and how that has led up to where I am now, in hopes that you will take the story to your advantage, to go and realize that number one, you have a lot of time to go and find your purpose. And even though if you have not found your purpose, maybe going out there in life to try to seek for this answer might not be the answer at all. Maybe the answer has been right in front of you this entire time and you just didn't know about it. So with that, let's go back many years ago, back to, for the new viewers, where I started my filmmaking journey, which wasn't really called filmmaking. And the reason why I'm retelling the story again, one, because of the new viewers, and second, because of how that actually linked to what I do now. So when I first started making videos, it was about watching old school YouTubers make their thing and saying that, hey, if they could do that, I could do that too. And I strapped a Nokia phone to a stick and I started to create my first few home videos and edit them on Windows Movie Maker. Oh, the good old days. And from there, I transitioned on to watching movies and discovering that, whoa, there's a huge industry part of this rather than just, the YouTubers. And I can really excel in this particular craft because during that time too, I was struggling in school. I was bad in school. I wanted to do something that had nothing to do with school. And that's when I discovered making home videos that could be a thing for fun, not even money, just for fun, which really alleviated the pain of um, having my life tied to grades. So that really helped me to expose myself to something more fun and grow my passion from there. So from there, I went to film school. I learned some myself. I got into the industry. Then many, many years later, I discovered that I kind of didn't like short films because that has its own world. I didn't really like wedding and corporate and the kind of thing at that point in time. And I was just like, that's not really for me. But I really love documentaries because the stories are out there in the world. And not to say that it's an easier way of filmmaking, a very lazy way. You just go there with a camera and spray and pray, and then you come up with a piece of the story that you want to tell. It's more about how the story unfolds in everyone's lives that I was very interested in. Not in the lives, but the passage of time, which is reality, which you cannot fake in a way. Reality TV series are normally faked in a way because they are pre-planned and everyone around there knows exactly what their lines are, what they're going to say. And that's how reality TV works. It is all planned to the T in a sense. But documentaries will change as you go along. Sorry, I'm not sure what's happening in my voice today. I feel a little bit like lockjaw, so bear with me, guys. But documentary videos are something that really inspired me to grow with time, and something that really opens your eyes as you grow with the film. You can come in from a standpoint of, I think this is how it's going to go about. But the more that you research on it, the more people you talk to, the more that you try to adjust your treatment, especially when you filmed X amount of hours and then you go into the edit thinking this is how it's going to be. You watch the first cut and you're like, well, this actually wasn't what I planned out to be. And this wasn't exactly how life turned out, like the documentary. It's completely different. And then you have to adjust from there. And it just is how it is. As much as you can plan your life, and it's very translative into the art and also in life. You're looking at this art thinking that, I planned out so much, it didn't really turn out the way that I wanted it to be, but now it's completely different. And I'm okay with it because that's the story that we are trying to tell from our perspective of how we see it unfold and how we want to portray it to other audience. And documentary, yeah, that is documentary. So that's why I felt so happy doing documentary. So that it was my film journey throughout, starting from home videos, going to film school, learning about films and cinema and that kind of thing, and then documentaries. And these days I do documentaries, a little bit of documentaries, more of corporate and events and that kind of thing. But now you understand the whole video portion of it. But there was one point in time during this whole video journey where I was thinking to myself that I did not know why I was doing this anymore. It felt very repetitive to get on set, film something, finish a project, get paid, move on, do the same thing over and over again. And you look at some of these people in the film industry who have been there for many, many years doing the exact same thing, and you ask them, why are you driven to do these things? And they tie it to work. It's like, oh, for the money. Oh, I like doing this for the passion. Oh, I like doing this. There's nothing wrong with saying that kind of thing. But me looking at that thinking, I'm going to be doing this for the next 20 years, the exact same thing as these people, repeating whatever they are doing. I don't want to do that. I feel there's something more, but I don't know what it is. But I know there's something more. I cannot just be working this role as a cameraman. I cannot be working this role as a runner, a PA. Even if I go to another country, for example, and I work in Hollywood, I felt that that wasn't also necessary in the sense where I would be doing the exact same thing, a little bit more money, more context, more, exposure to the industry. But is that really what I want to do? And I'm always making films so I can get my name out there and try to win awards and the kind of thing. I felt that that wasn't the path that I wanted to go down, because in another side of life, which has nothing completely to do with film, the part of life where I was struggling with was just self-identity, self-doubt, and all these kind of things. Where normally people, when talk about these things, are tied to their entire life. But this was tied to just me and my personality and the position that I was at in my life, including all the struggles of like depression and loneliness and things that I have gone through. It all accumulated in that part of the life. And there was, during this portion, I stopped filming for a very long time. I didn't take out any projects, and this was kind of during school. So it was during the school holidays, and it was long holidays, you're going from year 2 to year 3 kind of thing. So anyway, there was a lot of time for me to think, and I had just a very hard time trying to identify myself in the world. I felt very limited by what I could do, how I could navigate my life. Life was hard. I felt that the struggle in life was hard, especially when you link that to being an artist, a filmmaker, and you're looking at these things together and thinking, wow, I'm not going to make a lot of money in my career, and my career is very, very repetitive. What am I doing with my life? And you're looking at your entire life thinking, I'm so behind everyone else. Everyone else is already graduating, having 2, 3 kids at the age of 23, especially the girls, because they don't have to go through national service. And anyway, even the people who gone through national service, they are way ahead of me. They're overseas. They are making their life together. And I'm thinking, oh, why am I so slow? Why do I not have my life together? And at that point in time also, was not into sports, was not into optimization of life, was not the person that I am right now, very happy and willing to help other people and that kind of thing. So that point in life, when I decided to change and I decided to love myself and hone in on my skills, focus on my self-growth and that kind of thing, that's when life started to become better in a sense for me. And that's where I grew. If you look at it through the lens of the hero's journey, that was my inciting incident, my call to adventure, to go and say that I want to change, I want to grow, I want to discover what is possible and how I can be better from there. And I went off. To become this person looking for this self-improvement self, and I became this person that I am today. And it became this thing where as I became better, I started to discover many options in life. For example, if we look at eating, nutrition, there is something called fasting. There's stuff like the different diets that I've also tried. If you look at sports, there are running, powerlifting, strongman, Pilates, swimming, scuba diving. There's so many things that I can list, and all these things I've tried. And I look at all these things just as a little sample compared to all the rest of the other parts of your life, whether it's in cooking, whether it's in skill making, skill honing, and that kind of thing. And I thought to myself, wow, there's so many options and I've tried so many things, but why is it that a lot of people have not? And I felt for myself that, hey, that's not really fair. How come I get a better life and these people do not? Is it because they are not self-aware, or is it because they don't have the opportunity to, or they don't have the will to continue on with their life? Like, what's going on? Also, during the point in life where I was struggling, a lot of my friends kind of like, yeah. And I also attempted, yeah. So And I felt for myself, how come if they, how come if I can get through it, a lot of people can't? And I start to realize that the more happy I got, the more optimistic I got, the more I was open to talking about the hard things, the more people opened up to me. I started to realize that there were a lot of people still struggling in their lives. And I was thinking, where are we going with this future? In the immediate surrounding atmosphere, which I was in and I am in, where I'm talking to these people thinking, where are we going? Who is in charge here? When I'm talking about who's in charge, who is going to bring us to the next level of the human race within my own atmosphere, my environment? Because we keep doing the same thing, we keep going down the same path, we keep doing playing by the same rules, but I felt that we weren't really going anywhere. And I felt that I had to step up in a way that, because coming back to the first thing, I create videos and I have been putting myself out on the internet, not being successful, but being successful at training myself to be in front of the camera, be able to speak naturally and be able to speak my mind, to be able to have gone through a set of struggles that now people are going through. And now I get to share how I've gone through that so that other people can navigate their lives even easier than what I did before. By being this guide, this helper to help other people not fall into the same traps that I did, hopefully someone can become a better human, a better person to the best of their ability with my little support that I put out into the internet. So that is my story, where I combine something that has nothing to do with the helping people part and my own struggle, turning it into what I am right now. I combined it together to realize that this is my purpose. Not only does video make me money, not only does video leverage my life to give me opportunities to do things, but not only does this drive me to wake up to want to create, because I like creating videos regardless if anyone watches it, but now I get to use these videos to help people become their best version of themselves. And I feel really good about that. So this became my whole entire life purpose that I have found. And I don't know, I'm getting very excited about talking about this because when I introduced myself, I used to say that, oh yeah, I want to create videos. It's like, all right, sure. What do you want to create videos about? Well, I want to inspire people. Sure. About what? And I was like, yeah, I want to inspire people to live better lives. I'm like, okay, sure. But when I was saying it during those times, I had no idea I would be saying it like this right now on this podcast about how I'm so happy that I get to do this now. And it's self-driven. No one is telling me to do this. No one is telling me to wake up to say, guys, go and help someone. It's like, no, because of where I came from, because of the struggles that I gone through, it all accumulated together, combined, and it suddenly just became something that I vibe with. And it became my life. It became my life story, my backstory that now has transferred into where I am now. I don't take the past to define me, but the past has defined how I grew up to become this person now. The decisions that I make today was because of all that backstory that happened years ago. And that has how I became this person today. So, in conclusion today, that sounded like a very hard, sheer drop rock conclusion, but I'm trying to limit myself to getting too excited. And yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that in your story, if you are figuring out what is the next path, where am I going to go next, and how do I find my purpose, don't go looking for the answers like a checklist, thinking, okay, if I'm going to cross these things out, I am 100% going to get my life purpose. It doesn't work like that. What you got to do is to go out there and live your life. And whatever you think that suits you, fits you right now, and you think that's right for you to do that first, because that will lead you into the path to discover yourself. Your purpose might not show itself within the next 5 years, 10 years. Mine, well, I've been in filmmaking for 15. So now I'm starting to create all these YouTube channels. Only now I've become confident enough to put myself in front of the camera. I don't even think that I'm very good at speaking yet, but I am still putting myself out there because someone might watch this and think that, oh, he's not very good. He's someone at my stage in life where he's still putting himself out there and practicing. If he can do that, I can do that too. That was how I started. I watched those YouTubers back in the past thinking if they could do that, I could do that too. And I did. And you can. So don't feel that you need to find your life purpose and fulfill your life purpose at a certain age. It will come to you. It will come to you in time. The more you live, the more you put yourself out there to discover yourself. You will not know if you play one key when there are multiple keys on the piano. There are multiple keys on the piano. There are multiple options in life that you can try. And all this accumulation will lead you to narrow down your options to what your life purpose is. So keep at it, keep going, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.